and gentlemen, can we take out the table as we go into our next presentation? The Future is Sound, which promises to be an informative session, and I see something quite interesting and different going on. So ladies and gentlemen, please give your warm welcome to the founder and Soundsmith of BrandMusiq, Mr. Rajeev Raja. Take it away, sir.
Hi everybody. Good afternoon. I realize it's about lunchtime, so I'll make it quick. Really, this is about sound, music, brands, and how they can really transform a brand's experience with its consumer. Oops, okay. Yeah, so before we kick off, let me take you through a little bit of a sonic experience. So what I'd like to do is invite all of y'all to close your eyes, okay? I'm going to play a little bit on my flute, and you will see some imagery. You may feel some emotions, it may trigger some memories, and we'll come back and have a little chat about what you saw and felt. Okay? So eyes closed, everybody. Here goes. Okay, thank you. Does anybody want to start? We'll just quickly go around. One word of an image you saw, a scenery you saw, or a feeling you felt, an emotion you felt, or a memory that got triggered. Anybody? Tranquility. Okay, great. Anyone else? Love. Wow. Okay. Did anybody see waterfall? Yes. Did anybody see greenery? Mountains? Great. You know, wherever in the world we've played this piece of music, the imagery that people feel is exactly the same. Everybody starts seeing greenery, mountains, paddy fields, water. And, a Russian gentleman went back to the mountains in Georgia and saw waterfalls and children playing. So this told us as a sonic branding agency that there is a universal way in which music and sound is responded to. But within that, it's also colored by your imagination and your experiences. I'm sure that while many of you all had a common feeling of nature and tranquility, it would have also triggered possibly some memories, maybe nostalgia, maybe going back home to your ancestral home in the village, etc., etc. So that's really the starting point. And why is everybody feeling like this? It's not by accident, it is by design, right? So this particular scale that I used is called a pentatonic scale. It uses only 5 notes in the scale. These 5 notes. That's it. It's a composition of mine called Peace, right? So if y'all would not be able to see night when I played this scale. It's not possible. I don't think anybody here would have seen night. You would have seen day. Now, let's move from sunrise to sunset with the change of 1 note. So I'll play the original 3 notes. I'll change only the 3rd note. Did you feel sad? Right? You probably saw sunset. Now, this is really the power of sound and how sound can really take us places without even any visuals being there. And what are we doing this for? We are using the science of sound. We know certain scales, certain rhythms, certain musical patterns evoke certain responses in human beings. Which is why when we listen to a particular piece of music, we feel happy. We listen to another piece of music, we feel nostalgic, etc. So we've understood the science of sound, the art of music, and what we do is using that, we create the sound of a brand. So how do we create the sound of a brand? We first have to understand the brand as if it were a human being. Every one of us sitting here in this room have a unique DNA, which is not replicable. And we believe brands also have a unique DNA, which is not replicable. All we need to do is discover that DNA, and once we discover that, we are able to create a unique sound for the brand. And we'll tell you a little more about that. So there's a term we've created. It's called MOGO. Now, MOGO is a short form for musical logo. And we say a MOGO is the shortest distance between a brand and a consumer's heart. You know, in this digital age, the whole world is getting transactional. When was the last time you met a human being at a bank? Right? Brands need to humanize themselves. They need to personify themselves. They need to get an emotional connection, and they can do it through sound. But the MOGO is only a part of a larger sonic ecosystem that we create. We'll tell you more about it as we go along. So this is what we do at BrandMusiq. We design and manage the sonic identity of a brand. So early in our journey, we used to design a master sound and hand it over. But more and more brands are coming to us now and saying, hey, music, what do we do with it? Right? Okay, in the old days, you'd put it at the end of a TV spot, the MOGO. But today, there are so many possible media apertures. There, I have my apps, I have digital content, I have on-ground, I have online. How does the same sound permeate and follow my customer wherever he or she goes? So that's the managing part. And one of the things we realized that we needed a brand process, because music is a bit of a black box, right? It's subjective. How do we get brand owners and those who are taking decisions to find some logic for their musical decision? Now with color, it's easier. If you said, my brand is in the wellness space and it has a herbal element to it, and the visual identity agency came back and said, use the color green, you'd say, aha, okay, I get it. Great, I'll use green. But if a sonic branding agency came and told you, use a mixolydian scale, you'd say, what on earth? What on earth are you talking about, right? So we need to find a way to demystify music so that brand owners would understand. And we have a very simple 3-stage process. The first stage we call brand discovery. The second stage we call sonic mapping. And the third stage is where we create a sonic identity, which includes a MOGO and a MOGO-scape, which is the larger sonic theme of the brand. Now, this whole process takes about 6 to 8 weeks, but we try to understand in the brand discovery the avatar of the brand. Here we use Carl Jung's archetypes, and we prefer to call them avatars. So Mercedes, for example, is a ruler brand. J&J Baby is a caregiver brand. Apple is a creator brand. Now, once we understand the avatar or personality of the brand and where the brand wishes to be seen, then the next question we ask is, what is the rasa that you want to evoke? Now, I'm told that in Bhasa, the rasa means something, right? So, what rasa means? Taste, flavor, essence, feeling. Now, coincidentally, in Sanskrit, it means exactly the same thing. So, in our Indian system, we have every artist, whether it is in music, dance, theater, the whole objective of the artist is to evoke a certain set of rasas in those who are listening. Are you going to evoke happiness? Are you going to evoke excitement, a sense of wonder? And there's a great continuum along each of these rasas. So if you just take love and look at the continuum, it could be affection, belonging, warmth, right up to sensuality. So you define your brand avatar, you define your brand rasa or rasas, and then we put that all together in the sorry, okay. I was not playing or moving. Okay. Okay, Kekeba, basically, made you feel nice and cared for. Yeah. So, like this, we have mapped sonic themes for different avatars and rasas because we are all consuming media. So, when the hero comes onto the screen, you know there's a certain instrumentation that's going to follow him. Da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-dum, big drums. But if it's a very caring scene, you'll probably use flutes, you may use a female voice, etc., etc. So we've mapped musical instruments, tempos, etc., according to the avatar rasa. Once your brand defines what avatar rasa you want to be, we are able to use the science of sound to create a mogoscape, a mogo, and a mini mogo. So a mogoscape is like a 90-second master composition for the brand. A mogo is a musical logo which is around 3 or 4 seconds, and a mini mogo is 1.5 seconds. And today, the need for a mini mogo has exploded across categories because you need an alert, or you need a notification, you need a confirmation sound, and that comes from your sonic ecosystem. Once we create the sound, we map ear points or audio touch points. And then we say, look, depending on your category, these are the ear points you need to be present at, and we create adaptations of your master sound for all these ear points. Well, we were fortunate 4 years back to create the sound of MasterCard globally. We are based in India, Mumbai. Our background is I'm a musician. I say I work by day and play by night. So I work by day with BrandMusiq. So we are a brand strategic consultancy that creates sonic identities for brands. And MasterCard approached us to create their sound across 190 countries. It was a huge challenge. And it taught us a lot of things. But it was a fantastic experience. And let me take you through some of the work we did. So it'll be interesting for you all to know the avatars that MasterCard sort of finally honed into. They said we are a magician brand because we create priceless experiences, right? And we also have to be for every person. Every person, because we are in the credit card and debit card category, so everyone is invited. Now let's look at their rasas. These were the rasas that they wanted to evoke: a sense of joy, optimism, and surprise. So what we did was, using our process, if you just if you watch Walt Disney films and you close your eyes, you will hear the magical tones. You will hear the glockenspiel. You will hear the musical box kind of tones that instantly evoke a feeling of magic. So we started from there. Optimism was brought alive through a very peppy kind of beat, and so that it's relevant to everybody across the world, across gender, across geography, we had a very simple melody. So let's hear the MasterCard Mogoscape. I'll play a little bit for you. That's just to give you a little idea. It's a much longer piece. It goes into a bridge section, then comes back. But can you sing along with me? Ta ta ra 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 ra. Ta ra 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 ra. That's it. now let's hear the 3-second mogo. And the 1.5-second mini mogo, which plays at 5.7 million outlets, probably grown beyond that, every time the MasterCard is swiped on the POS machine. So we had to create a digital sound, much faster, but reminiscent of the notes of the mogo. Here's the mini mogo. That's the mini mogo, right? So the Mogoscape, the mogo and the mini mogo form the sonic identity system. And now let's look at some executions. How is it done as a background score for your TV spot? So, thank you. There are thousands of such commercials happening every day. There's a clear Mogo manual given to our clients, how they could use it across different pieces of creative. The Mogo and the logo, that's sacrosanct. They should come together. There shouldn't be a third voiceover saying MasterCard, for example, right? And now let's move on to some interesting, how do we take it around the world? The same sonic theme. The Middle East. Latin America. Of course, India. Unfortunately, we don't have one for Indonesia yet, but we'd love to do a version. But across different moods and occasions. So if it was a very emotional piece of creative, how would the sonic identity translate? When you're partying at night, tonight, an EDM version. They're sponsors of EPL and the European League, so they wanted us to create a fans chant. So this is what we did. During COVID, nobody could get into the stadium, so they sent this to all their fans, and they said, just shoot yourselves at home doing a Mexican wave and send it into us. And they put it all into a giant digital video, and this was the call for entries. Finally, the mini mogo.
Smart speaker. Order red acrylic paint.
Your order has been placed.
This is very interesting. There's a concept we have called sonic watermarking, where you can brand your content without branding it. So this is an album MasterCard has released on Spotify where there is no visual branding. There's no logo. It's called Priceless, and the only branding is the sonic branding, which is inserted, which is every pop song is composed around its sonic branding. And this is one of the hits called Merry Go Round.
I can see clearly, almost lost me nearly. He was such a mess. And I'm
Just a couple of year points. We've inserted in India's largest private sector bank in the ATMs. They have about 15 to 20,000 ATMs. So every time the debit card is put in, you hear the mogo. And every time you finish your transaction, you know it's safe to leave the ATM. So the mogo plays. Or India's largest food delivery app, we actually inserted the mogo in the app so that you know where the rider is. You don't have to look at your app any longer. Zomato, therefore Zoom. And finally, Vistara, Singapore Airlines, and the Tata Group. It's the onboard sound.
Welcome aboard Vistara.
Some of the clients we worked on, it's very exciting times for sonic branding. A lot of clients, brands are realizing it's not just a nice to have, it's not just a jingle, it can provide a very business utility reason why you should have a sonic identity. So, thank you, let's mogo. If anybody wants to get any more information, please just scan the barcode and we'd be happy to have a chat.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Rajak. And we have another round of applause. The future, or maybe
Photo.
the power of sound and music. Let's take a picture of you first, sir. That was so amazing. And we want to also thank all of our speakers for trying to keep things engaging and, of course, informative.